AZ Alkmaar 0, Manchester United 0. And look, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, at this moment in time, I don't care what anybody says, you can say it's harsh, but it's the truth. And I want to talk about this long-term vision because I think it's very important. But at this moment in time, he is nothing more than a Poundland Jose Mourinho. We are playing exactly the same brand of football, but we're just doing it worse. And we're doing it with a manager that has got no CVs, got no Wikipedia page, and doesn't seem to have many ideas. And pretending that that's good enough, pretending that we're papering the cracks and pretending that we're going somewhere with this vision is very much like seasoning a turd. Salt and pepper on a turd, it's still crap. Or taking a car washing a car before you take it to a scrap merchant. Like, pointless. Absolutely bloody pointless. And this is what I'm on about. If you put Frank Lampard in charge of Manchester United and you put Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in charge of Chelsea, you would see the same thing. You would see Chelsea playing a very bad formation and their fans becoming more and more frustrated with a club legend. And you would see Lampard at Manchester United playing a brand of football that's exciting and with no transfers because he's got a transfer ban, but you would see he's going to get better and better and better. He's been doing it for weeks. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's been here for 8 months. The biggest flaw in all I hear from Ole people who are saying give him time, give him time, give him time, is where's the bloody vision? The time you're talking about is, oh, he needs better players. He's done really well in the transfer market, right? He needs better players. He's done really well in the transfer market. He is not going to change the way he plays when he gets better players because he could easily play the way he wants to play right now. Yeah, Matic is shit. Fred wasn't very good. We'll do the player ratings in a minute. And he played some youth. But he plays 4-2-3-1 against everybody. Rochdale, Astana, Arsenal, Chelsea, everybody. It doesn't matter. He doesn't discriminate. He plays his way of playing against everybody. Doesn't matter what the 11 is. Doesn't matter whether it's got a bit of youth in it. Doesn't matter whether it's his best 11. 4-2-3-1 is the Ole way. 4-2-3-1 is what we saw with LVG. 4-2-3-1 is pretty much what we saw with Mourinho. We're getting a Poundland version of LVG and Jose, and we're swallowing it, going, give him more time than they had because he's a legend of the club. We gave him the job because he played 4-3-3 with one holding midfielder, two box-to-box midfielders, and three forwards who were quick, dynamic, and caused people problems because we moved the ball quickly from back to front. We gave him the job based on that. He got the job, and he started to come out with this ridiculously bad run of form. We had no shots on target against AZ Alkmaar, and they were knackered for the last half an hour. They were done. Like, you know, this is not acceptable. He's going to come out and say the pitch wasn't very good. Some of the young lads did really well, which they did. We'll take that. It's a good point. We're not Stoke City in Europe. We're Manchester United. There's a certain level of football that you've got to play. And when people are watching the game, God forbid, going out there and paying to watch Manchester United play, and you don't have a shot on target against a team like that. It's AZ Alkmaar, right? I want to talk positively about them in a moment, but it's AZ Alkmaar. We're going away to their place and not having a shot on their goal. That is atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. And I think these people, I'm not saying Ollie out. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there needs to be more pressure on this manager as to what he's doing with this football club. There needs to be more pressure on people like the coaching staff as well, because everyone's in a comfortable place. They're all too bloody cosy. They're like, he knows he's not going to be sacked. He knows he's got ages and ages. But I would say to the people in charge of that decision, you're going to make an idiotic decision yet again. You need to pull him in tomorrow morning and say, look, you have got plenty of time, but stop playing this crap football. What are you doing, mate? Why are you playing such bad brand of football? We didn't give you the job on this. Why are you playing two holding midfielders all the time? Why is your number 10 dropping into the centre circle or invisible? We play Jesse Lingard as number 10 and he turns into the invisible man. We play Juan Mata at number 10 and he comes and plays as a CDM to get the ball. I mean, what's going on? What is going on with Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics? They're awful. They're absolutely awful. And he needs to be held accountable for that. You can't hide behind changing the team. He'll come out and say, we made 8 changes tonight. The young lads did really well. It's a difficult pitch. We'll be a different team on Sunday. You won't. You'll be a 4-2-3-1. You'll have a better team because it'll be your better players, but it's still going to be a 4-2-3-1. This is the thing that terrifies me the most about Manchester United at the moment. It's not about being Ollie in or Ollie out. I'm just terrified about how crap we are as a football team and how rubbish his tactics are. And I don't care if he's listening. I don't care if Carrick's listening. You're legends of the clubs, lads, but I'm sorry, I'd say it to your face. You're boring the fans to death. Stop playing two holding midfielders. Stop hiding behind this nonsense that I'm doing it because our midfield's not good enough. They're still human beings. They're still footballers. Matic could just stand on there on his own. Fred could go box to box. You're playing too negative. You're playing way too negative. You've spent that defence with Maguire and Wan-Bissaka. You've got the best goalkeeper in the world, arguably. You've got Lindelof, who Barcelona wanted. You've spent 80 million on Harry Maguire. You've spent 50 million on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Luke Shaw's decent. You've got a very expensive back four there. When we had Rio Ferdinand and Vidic, they'd send the fullbacks and the midfielders forward and say, we'll do it on our own. Watch United with Rio and Vidic. They used to do that a lot on their own, right? We have now spent loads of money on our back four, but we're saying we need 2 CDMs to protect them as well. What a load of crap. They don't need that. They're a very good, expensive defence. 1 CDM gives you another midfielder to push forward, puts more pressure on the attack, and gives our attack more opportunities to score goals. It's not rocket science. The tactics are abysmal. And yeah, we're going to do player ratings and we'll talk about that in a moment. But let me just say, AZ Alkmaar are not a good team. But I tell you what, I wish our team played like that. I don't know who the coach is. I don't know anything about the bloody coach. But he certainly knows how to zonal press. They were pressing as a 4 in the first half. If they weren't as fit as us, and to be honest, we got out of jail in that second half because we're a Premier League club. And Premier League is a lot more energetic and a lot fitter than any other league in Europe. And our fitness got us back into the game. It wasn't tactical. We came into the game in the last half an hour because of fitness, because AZ tired. But the way they play football, the way they want to pass out from the back, the way they want to play their little triangles, the way there's always a pass on for them, the way they pressed collectively, they're a good footballing team for the level that they're at. And I can see, you should be able to look at a football team and go, I know what they're doing. I like it, I don't like it. And I saw what they did and I liked it. And I look at what United are doing and I bloody hate it. It's boring. And I would plead to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to start listening to the people who matter the most, the fans of Manchester United Football Club. There's a lot of people who still want you to succeed. There's a lot of people who are Ole in, and I put myself in that camp, but I'm very frustrated and very disappointed, and I am scared you are going to continue down this route. And if this is what the route is for 3 years, this is the long-term plan, this is the long-term vision, then I don't want it. I don't want it. So, and I don't think a lot of United fans want it. Please, 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 please go back to the 4-3-3 you were playing when you got the job. And if you're going to lose your job, do it that way. Please do it. And if anybody's out there saying, but maybe he's not doing it till he's got the players he's doing, what's the point in that? What is the point in playing a rigid defensive formation until you get better players? That's not a vision. That's not a long-term strategy. If you are going to be successful in this game, if you are Pep Guardiola, or if you are Klopp, walking into Liverpool with a shit team. He didn't say, Jurgen Klopp inherited a worse United team than Ollie's got. Yet from day one, he played exactly the same way as he's playing now, with the same philosophy, with worse players. You do not start playing part of the ball football until you've got better players and then try and play a different way. You play to your philosophy, and I am terrified that we are now seeing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's philosophy, which is to sit deep and try and hit teams on the break. But then what you see with AZ is they saw that United are only ever going to hit them on the break. So as soon as we lost the ball, they went deep and sat back. And that's what you do against United. Every one of you have said it at some point. Every team who plays United now, get everyone behind the ball, they've got nothing. They will not create anything because they don't move the ball quick enough. And they don't. We don't do it. And this is the scary thing, is that we are struggling because tactically we are inept. And I'm worried. I'm really worried. But the thing that I cling on to is he didn't get the job playing this way. It's not like I could be sat here going, I'm really worried. Michael Carrick's got no coaching experience. McKenna's come from the youth setup. Ollie's not really got any high-level experience. I'm really panicking and we're really worried. I am. But I'm also like, but he didn't get the job playing this way. He got the job playing a totally different brand of football. He got the job splitting his centre-backs on a goal kick. He got the job moving the ball quickly forward when you've got it. He got the job stretching teams. Remember that goal at Wembley where Pogba pinged it to Rashford and he scored when we hit them on the break? We were hitting spaces. We're not that team anymore. We stopped being that team as soon as he got the job. Please go back to that, because you're going to lose the job by doing something you didn't do to get the job. You know, go back to what you did. Go back to exciting football. Go back to stretching teams. Go back to taking risks. You've spent so much money on that back four. Stop defending it with 2 donkey CDMs who only want to pass side to side. Go for it. Bloody go for it. Because I tell you what, we're going to get told 0-0 was a great result against AZ. Why? Why? It was absolutely atrocious. It's a good point, but the performance is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Welcome to the Ollie Out Club, Mark, says Jordan Finley. I'm not Ollie Out. I'm not Ollie Out because he's not... You know why? I keep explaining you to this. I keep explaining this to you. The story's not yet been written. You don't go Ollie Out when he's not gone to where he needs to get to be sacked or stay in the job. I think you can think Ollie Out, you can say whatever you like, but I'm not going to do that. I didn't do it with Mourinho because I know, even now, I know it's too early. It's too early to do it because he's not plunged to the depths where he will get sacked. And he's not actually... He could still turn this around. He could still turn it around. But he's boring us to death. And that is one thing I will not apologise for. I don't need to say Ollie Out because I don't think we're at that point yet. But I can say that this is atrocious. The brand of football that... And it's all season. It's Leicester at home, Arsenal at home, West Ham away, Palace at home, Rochdale at home, Astana at home, AZ Alkmaar away. It's 4-2-3-1, static crap football, and it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. He's got to change it. He's got to change it, or he will lose his job. We've got 17,000 people watching. If everyone smashes the like button now, we could have 17,000 likes. So please do smash a like on the video, and I will stay live a little bit longer because we normally do an 8 o'clock show. So why not? Fuck it. Let's stay live. Smash a like and we'll do it. But let's do the player ratings because... well, look, Brandon Williams doesn't even have a little shirt emoji because we didn't ever expect him to be playing at all this season. So I'm you know what? I'm going to do something really outrageous and give him an 8 because you know what? He's a young lad. He made a lot of mistakes. The ball went under his foot for a throw in. He got caught out of position. He got floored by physical players. But that's his debut for Manchester United. And I will applaud Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on that. I'm going to applaud him for playing such a young player in such a big game away from Old Trafford. I thought he did fantastically well. He did make a lot of mistakes, but this is what people need to understand. Youth players don't come in and play a worldie. He needs 3 or 4 games more like that to start growing. And the confidence he'll take from that game. And you know what? I'm so glad we didn't lose anyway, but I'm so glad we didn't lose for someone like Brendan Williams because his first game will not be a loss for Manchester United. He got a clean sheet, he's a defender, and I'm going to give him a generous 8, when probably, if it was Ashley Young, I'd give him a 5. But because it's Brandon Williams and it's first game, I thought that was good. Rojo 6, Lindelof 6. They didn't really... I mean, they weren't great, but thank God they didn't get exposed, and the same for De Gea. Delo, I'm going to give him a 5. I thought defensively he was awful. Idrissi had him on toast. He may as well have been a warm can of beans, but going forward, very good. And I think these people who talk about Delo saying we should be playing him as a right winger, then I thought he did well. I think he did well. But defensively, he's awful. He's really, really bad defensively. Matic a 4. I mean, did you see him in the second half? Messing around with it on the edge of the box. They nearly scored from that. I saw him in the first half taking 4 touches to pass it sideways. Just a terrible footballer. Really bad. Fred, a slightly better 5. This is the fear with Fred. We want Fred to play. I want Fred to start for Manchester United, but this is the fear. Is he actually not that good? Because we're so desperate for him to be good. What if he's not good? What I would say on a positive with Fred is he always wants to play a forward pass. Unfortunately, it normally goes to the opposition. He is energetic. He does try to make a tackle, and a lot of the time it's a foul. But I'll guarantee you he probably had more touches and passes than anybody on the pitch because he wants the ball. He's not scared to have the ball. He's not scared to have a tackle, and he's quick across the ground. And when you've got people like Matic in the team and Mata in the team, that pace and speed matters. So, yeah, I don't think Fred had a very good game, and you can't lie. You can't lie and give him any higher than a 5. You could even give him a 4. I wouldn't disagree. But at least he's got the right qualities in a midfield that may as well have a gravestone above it. It is dead. Matic and Mata are dead footballers. They are crap. They are really, really bad. Mata gets a 4 from me. He could have got a 5. He gets a 4 because he's the number 10, did absolutely nothing. And the worst thing you can do as a number 10 is leave your area and start coming deep. And Rooney used to do it all the time in the latter days. He'd get so frustrated, he'd come deep. You're not kidding anybody if you're just getting hold of the ball to play a sideways pass. And Mata kept coming to the centre circle, and you could see every time he did it, Matic and Fred were like, you're sort of in our space, mate. Like, and he'd come and get the ball and just pass it to them. And he kept coming deep all the time. That's shocking for a number 10 to do that. And it basically puts the blinkers on people going, well, Mata kept trying to get the ball. He should have been stood in the number 10 position, not dropping back and trying to find space there. Because what good is your number 10 on the ball in the centre circle? Absolutely none. It's pointless. So 4 for me, because that's a lack of indiscipline. Dan James, 6. I mean, I could give him why have I not given him a 5? Just because I like him. I'm giving him a 6. Why did we play Dan James as a striker? As I said at the start of the game, Dan James played as a striker. Greenwood played off the right. Gomez played off the left. And I said, this is either something tactical, because otherwise it's going to be something stupid. And it turned out to be something stupid. Like, we're trying to... What I hated about the front three today is they were interchanging so much. And I'm like... We can't play the basic game of football. We can't play simple football. So why are we confusing a game that we can't play by swapping people around? Put Greenwood up front. Put James on the right. Put Gomez on the left and make them stay there. We're not even playing the basic game of football properly. So why are we shifting players around and complicating it even more? So Dan James gets a 6. He shouldn't get a 6. He shouldn't get a 6. It means I've got to give Greenwood a 6. They should get 5s. I apologise for that. They had crap games, really bad games, because they were starved of oxygen like we thought they were going to be. So I'm going to give them all a 6. And maybe there's a bit of generosity in that as well, because they had nothing. They did nothing with the ball when they got it, but they had very little of the ball. Every time they got the ball, they had 3 or 4 players around them because we didn't move the ball quick enough. So, yeah, I mean, mate, ladies and gentlemen, we're struggling. We're really struggling. I'm going to smash a like on the video if Brandon Williams is your man of the match, quite simply because he played in the defence that got a clean sheet and he's a young lad that probably nobody thought was going to play, and he deserves a bit of leeway. That's my man of the match. That's how bad we were tonight. There was no good performance. It was awful. Tactically awful. Individually, performances were awful because of the tactics mainly, but because some players shouldn't be wearing a United shirt. Matic and Mata, they're just a waste of time. Lingard could have got man of the match. No way. No way. What are you smoking, Mark? Says Black Angel. Well, tell me what I'm smoking. Look, I've already said the front three probably should get 4s and 5s. I agree with you. I just mistakenly gave James a 6 and I can't rub it out without rubbing everybody out. In fact, you know what? This ain't that show. This ain't that show. Let's do it properly. 5, 5, 6 is average. 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 6, 6, 6 and 7, so he gets man of the match. There you go. I think that's more fairer, isn't it? It was awful, absolutely awful, and everybody was awful. Lindelof man of the match, says Isaac Eriksson. Yeah, I think if you want to go for a senior player, you probably would give it to Lindelof, but I think Brandon Williams did really well in a difficult game. I really do. So yeah. Just where do we go from here? Where do we go from here as a football club? All I would say is, and I took a few notes, but we had no shots on goal in the whole game, and that's really, really poor. It's a coaching issue. It really is a coaching issue. The amount of times in the first half and the second half we were just resorting to a long ball. I mean, let's absolutely own this and have no doubts about this. Whether you're Ollie in or you're Ollie out, you've got to own this. We are a park the bus team that hits long balls and tries to hit teams on the break. We are a park the bus team that hits long balls. That's what counter-attacking football is. And that's what we've given somebody the job to come and do. Have no doubts about it. We've got a manager in charge at the moment who is a Poundland Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho should have got the sack. Louis van Gaal should have got the sack. And they got the sack based on the fact that they were meant to get us to be title contenders and they failed. We've now got a manager who is a Poundland version of Van Gaal and Jose, who is battling in the mid-table and will struggle to get Europa League football. The expectations are lower than what Jose and Van Gaal had, and a lot of people are accepting that. What's wrong with Poundland? I work part-time there, says James Gallagher. It's great. I especially like the bumper packs of Mars. Round Halloween, it's brilliant. But I'd rather shop at M&S. Food. Joe Holdway, McTominay was the best player and he was only on for 10 minutes. McTominay's player of the month and he deserves it. Christopher Lee, Ollie the babyface excuse. Horner says your British favouritism is shown again, Mark. An 8. No, he's a young lad who I just don't want to get criticised. 40-year-old Virgil says, what's more embarrassing, Spurs 7-2 or Man United 0-0? Probably Spurs, but it's the fact that it's in the conversation. Mike Smith says, Ollie played the youth we wanted. We got what we predicted. The next Ollie will give us the formation we like. That's the patient part. Nah, mate, wake up and smell the Maxwell house. You don't have a manager playing a shit formation and then in a few weeks' time he'll start using the one he wants to use. You play the way you want to play. Tor's Hammer says, Mark, how has he not sunk to the depths of sack? Worst Premier League start, worst 19-game run going back to last season. That would put us bottom 3. Least goals scores, awful tactics and players out of position. You can't argue with that. Ultrachlorix Bleak. March, if Ollie continues down his way indefinitely, when do you see yourself reaching a breaking point and saying Ollie out by Christmas or later? I think if he loses to Newcastle and Liverpool playing this way, I think a lot of people will be done. He's got to change the way he plays or he's got to start winning games. Alex, the season was over before it started. JR, what is your breaking point before Ollie being sacked? Well, I don't think the club will sack him, but I think when you know the club's not going to sack him, it almost makes you jumping Ollie out a little bit stupid because, you know, you're sort of making yourself more upset on something that's not going to happen. I said before, Ollie tactically naive and you blatantly disagreed. Why now change, says Ray Cowley. Because, you know why, Ray? Because I still cling to the fact that the first 3 months he was very, very good. The thing I don't understand the most is I don't know why he's playing this style of football anymore. Kisali Chakrabarti, Ollie under the wheel, time for Allegri. I would warn you to go and listen to the podcast. The links are in the video description. If you think Allegri's a good coach, go and listen to the podcast. I wouldn't take Allegri. I think you'll get bored as well. Crick MUFC, United fans aren't a hard bunch to please. Play an attractive style of football and we will be on board. Ollie's getting himself sacked, sadly. Such a shame. Jordan Such, Salzburg go to Anfield and score 3. We go to Alkmaar and not have a shot on target. It's embarrassing. I want to just say that as well. You know what? I said it in the watch along. 6 years, right? We've had Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho and now Ollie and the football's been shit. Liverpool didn't win a title for 30 years. Arsenal haven't won one for over 10 years. But in that time, they've not been shit. They've played a good brand of football a lot of that time. They've not been good enough to win titles, but they've entertained their fans. I think the saddest thing we've had at United is I don't like not winning titles. I don't like not challenging for titles, but you have to accept that. You know, we had great success for a long period of time. You can't be greedy. But what we can be greedy about is that when Manchester United and we should play attractive football. Bournemouth finish mid-table every year, but they do entertain their fans. And the reality is, I mean, Martinelli's just scored a great goal for Arsenal. This is attacking football, very, very good goal. They've got youngsters playing, Tierney with the cross, absolutely superb. But that's what I'm on about, attacking football, exciting football. They're playing the youth again and they're playing good football. We're not playing good football. And this is unacceptable. This goes to the top of the club. Like, I don't want to grind out 0-0 draws. I don't want to grind out 1-0 wins and be bored to death with no shots on goal or one shot on goal if you've won 1-0. We should play good football. I'm not saying we should win titles, but the first thing you should do is play good football. And you look at this board, they never should have given Van Gaal the job. They never should have given Mourinho the job because they play shitty football. And Ollie is now doing that as well. Like, this is the hardest thing. It's the fact that I'm not proud of the way we play football. Just give us something to be entertained by, please. Mark, why do I even look forward to watching them play when they continue to play it like this? Male gymnastics is more exciting than this, as Man United fan 81. Mark was saying get Jose out, now he wants him back. I don't want Jose back, Eliza. I do not want Jose back. I have never said that. And I don't mind a bit of laugh, but I've never said that. I wouldn't want him back. What I'm saying is Ollie is a Poundland version of Jose. Jose deserved the sack. Jose admits he deserved the sack. I was Ollie out. I was Jose out. I admit I was Jose out, but the reality is we're in a worse position now than we were under Jose. That doesn't mean we should have kept Jose. I think people are a little bit thick with this. Those people who are saying we're in a worse position than we were under Jose are correct. Doesn't mean we should keep Jose. It means we should have sacked Jose and got a bloody better manager in. That's what we should have done. Just because we're in a worse position than we were with Jose doesn't mean we should have kept him. That's a stupid logic. Eze knackered, yeah, but still showed more energy than us, says Ray Cowley. We are slow, ponderous, and no idea what to do with the ball. Kirill Korolev says Ollie at Chelsea would have Jorginho, Kante, and Mount. I bet my savings he would love to play 4-3-3 there. I wouldn't bet. Well, he could play 4-3-3 here. You could play McTominay, Pereira and Pogba. Like, you could easily play a more attacking side. Cobros Aikens, Fred is 50 million. Martinelli's just scored again for Arsenal. It's 2-0. It's getting worse, isn't it, for us? Playing the youth. Ollie is at Chelsea. Game started at 2:55 a.m. in Australia, and I woke up to watch this bunch of clowns. I'm amazed you stay awake. One up. Fred is 50 million. Is on Jose. Jose wanted Fred from January to stop Pep. Jose wanted Sanchez to stop Pep. We say back the manager. Board did. Now we blame the board. That's from Cobras Aitken. Great banter. Was doing my homework whilst the game was on. Disappointing from my point of view, and I expected this in the first place. The Campbell Lyle says Ollie is an absolute joke of a manager. Zachary Purvis says Ollie has no clue what he is doing, or he is intentionally being ignorant. I'm leaving towards Ollie out. I can deal with losses, but not these performances. And I agree with that, Zachary. That's the problem. The performances are shit. The scores, you know, a 0-0 against AZ Alkmaar could be a really good game, and you take the point. But it's the football. It's the football. Got to stop scapegoating players. This is on Ollie, says Eraserhead. My thoughts on Ollie, says my thoughts on Allegri, says Squabbles. I don't think he's the right man, and I go into depth on the podcast, so give it a listen. The link's in the video description. Didn't you say you'd be happy with a draw, says Strutson? Yeah, I mean, I think a draw is a good result for United. It's just how we get there. Like, you can have a good result and be totally pissed off with the performance. Have we had a shot on goal, says Nick P? No. These shower belong in a circus, Mark, says Brian Murphy. Exactly. It is far from acceptable. It is far from acceptable. And I think that the Newcastle game on Sunday was always going to be bigger than this. He has got to beat Newcastle on Sunday. He's got to start giving himself a chance, because Liverpool at Old Trafford, you're going to need Pogba and Martial to have anywhere near a chance. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He's got to get a result against Newcastle. Doesn't look like he's going to have Paul Pogba. I've just forgotten, I haven't given Ole Gunnar Solskjaer his rating. 3 out of 10. And you know what? The sad thing is, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has scored more than a 5 on his manager rating for any game in ages. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking. Fans can't blame the board when Ollie plays this way. They gave him Maguire, Wan-Bissaka and Dan James, and we extended Martial and De Gea's contracts, says Eric Angel. The board are the biggest problem at Manchester United. They've appointed bad managers. They've bought bad players. They are absolutely incompetent in many, many ways. We didn't buy players in the summer. We always said that was going to make this season hard. It makes it hard, but the season should not be going this bad. There is a responsibility on the board, and they have to take a lot of the blame. The problem is, Ollie is not allowing himself to be blameless with what he's doing with the team. He is putting blame onto himself. You know, realistically, we should be in 5th. Realistically, we should be scoring more goals and playing better football. But we'd still say we're not quite where we need to be because of the board. The problem is, he's taken us way down than where we should be, and he's putting a lot of blame onto himself. At the moment, and I don't necessarily think this is true. At the moment, he's coming across as a clueless manager. He's coming across as a manager that's out of ideas. He's coming across as a manager that can't adapt in game. He's sticking to the same formation. His only clever thing he tries to do is play a 4-2-3-1, and then the front 3 players, or like a 4-2, whatever it is, the 3 front players. He says you swap about, you change positions. That's what he's trying to do, and that is the issue that he's facing at the moment. Is that he looks like a manager who's out of ideas, and because of that, United are struggling. And that's the problem that we're having, isn't it? It's harsh, but it's true. It's absolutely true. And I can't say any more than that. It really is. It is. Please do smash a like on the video. We'll stay live. I'm not bothered. I'm happy to keep talking. Ollie is clueless. Lauren Blanc in timeout. Cool. Where are the basics? One-touch football when you lose the ball, says Suggs. And I think that's something that AZ Alkmaar did as well, isn't it? Ano Palipan says, United to Chinese League, not even Championship level. Let us lose all our games. Then the board might react. The thing is, if you look at that AZ Alkmaar team, it's got Ron Vlaar in it, who's been sold by Villa. You know, there's a lot of players in that team who are just nowhere near Premier League quality. The same with Rochdale last week. But because they've got a way of play, if you've got a way of playing, and then you're playing a team that doesn't know what they're doing, then you will look really good at football. Doesn't matter how good your players are, if you, the systems maketh the team. And AZ Alkmaar today were actually, for an underdog, and they were the underdog. They're not paid anywhere near our players. I mean, you know, Juan Mata's wage is probably worth most of that team. I doubt many of those players are on. What do you get played in the Dutch league? I don't know. But every one of their players looked better than ours. And the way they passed the move, the way they always had... What I liked is when they lost the ball, they hunted in packs and they got the ball back and they pressured us and we made a mistake. And when they had the ball, they were cool and calm under pressure. And they know because they play in a system, they know where everybody is. And this is the stupidity of what we were doing with our front three, of what we did with James and Gomez and Greenwood is they're swapping around so many times. When Mata gets the ball, it's not, you know, some number 10s, they're telepathic with their front three because they know. You know, if you're Jordan Henderson, who's not a number 10, or you're Wijnaldum, or you're Fabinho, you know where Salah and Mane and Firmino is. Firmino's down the middle, Mane's down the left, Salah's down the right. And you might know that sometimes they make a run wide, or sometimes they'll cut in. But you know everything that they do. I mean, 3-0 to Arsenal after half an hour, after 20 minutes. They're absolutely battering their side, playing good football. But United, Mata gets the ball. I mean, he's in the centre circle for a start, which doesn't help. But every time they get the ball, they're looking at... He doesn't know where somebody is. He probably looks to his left. Oh, Gomez isn't there anymore. We're making the game really hard on ourselves. Really hard on ourselves. You seen Ollie's post-match comments, infuriating, says Aram Hekmat. I'm just going to go and have a look. But I predicted they would be positive because... This is what happens when you've got a manager playing bad football. The delusion starts to set in. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. We'll dissect it more tomorrow. The next big bit is the fan cams coming in from people who've paid money to go and watch United not have a shot on goal. Flex is over there. Keep your eye on for that. Subscribe. Get your notifications on. Go and watch Arsenal if you want to watch some good football. I hate to say it, but I'm watching Arsenal at the moment. Really good performance from them. They're 3-0 up after 20 minutes. Fan cams are incoming. Thanks everyone for watching. Get your comments in below. It's not good enough. It's not good enough.